All right, thanks for joining us today, everybody. Washington State head baseball coach Brian Green is here to talk about the 2023 season. So, Coach, the Cougs open at Arizona next week, a trip to Peoria, the home of the Seattle Mariners, to play Villanova next Friday, and then also UC Riverside. So a couple games against both teams next weekend in Arizona. Coach, why don't you do a quick opening statement about 2023?
Yeah, special thanks again to the Mariners for the opportunity to go down there and play at the complex and play in the stadium. It's an awesome venue for us. We'll bring in Villanova and we'll bring in UC Riverside, and we'll have a short, small 3-team tourney. We'll get 4 games out of that. We'll get a Friday, a doubleheader on a Saturday, and then we'll get a Sunday. Come back to Pullman and then head back to San Diego State for the Tony Gwynn Classic, which is another great one for us with Irvine and UNLV, Nevada, Las Vegas, UC San Diego, and San Diego State, the host team. So first 2 weekends on the road, then we'll return to Pullman for week 3 against Southern Indiana. Excited to offer up in terms of a preview for this year's schedule. I believe at this point it's 9 more home games than we had a year ago. So we're excited about that, as typically we're a pretty tough home team. So we'll add 9 to the schedule. Obviously the RVs and the season tickets are going. With regards to the team, we're excited about it. 15 returning players from last year's team is not a big number, but it's the right 15, and it's the guys who contributed a bunch to last year's club, particularly a group of 15 that was a big part of that 17-8 final 25 game stretch. Well, we are a pretty good baseball team with, ranked series wins over, I think, 2 or 3 opponents down the stretch. So we like our club. We like the vibe in the locker room. We just got done with Team Elite, a team building culture type program. We've got experience on the mound. We've got the most left and right that we've had since we've been here. Certainly the most athletic that we've been. We feel like we're going to play really good team defense. We feel like we're going to have the opportunity to be very left and right in terms of matching up. And we've got a little bit of length on the mound for the first time. So everybody's healthy. The couple of guys have some dings, or maybe there's a weekend or 2 early, but nothing long term. We like our club. It's time to get going, and as we enter into year 4, see if this program can cross the line. We've had 3 winning seasons. That's fine, and we're excited about that, and we're certainly ascending, but we're looking to cross that line, and make that selection Monday a memorable day for this program. I think it's first in 13 years. So those are the goals of the team. Very, very cut and try, very simple, is to get to the NC2A regionals.
All right, Coach. First question is to be Jamie Vinnick from Coug Fan. Go ahead, Jamie.
Coach, how's it going?
Good, Jamie. It's good to hear from you.
Good to talk to you as well. Just get right into it. What do you kind of thinking the lineup and the positional stuff looks like in the infield, the outfield, and behind the plate?
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, if you look at us on paper, there's a lot of returning players that were quality players. Will Cresswell behind the plate has put on 15, 20 pounds or something like that. Completely changed his game. Obviously was a tremendous receiver defender last year, but his arm's better. He's throwing better. So we like Will. And then Jacob Morrow is a Lynn Benton Community College transfer, who's also a quality defender. Andrew McKenna is a Santa Barbara City transfer. He's a left-hander. He's a switch, but he's really a left-handed hitter that he has worked into, and he'll see some time behind the plate. But you can expect to see a lot of Cresswell. You've got McKeon, of course, first team All Pac-12 coming back. Sam Brown is a transfer from Portland, who was a freshman All-American 2 years ago. And then really, Jamie, most probably excited about in terms of new players, just our depth on the infield. Somebody's game goes to hell or somebody's bat falls short, we're going to have some opportunities to do something there. But you've got Russell and Hainline up the middle. They're still duking it out for second, short, or third. You got Jacob Harvey, who's a grad transfer who was at Fullerton. He'd been at Oregon State. Cam McGee, a portal player from Arizona State. So when you look at our entire infield, Brandon Ponce as a junior college transfer out of Big Bend. He's a switch hitter. He's got some power. We're going to have the opportunity to really move the infield around. And the guy that I didn't mention, probably the most exciting player that we have, is Alan Shibley. He was the number 2 or 3 hitter at San Jacinto Community College in Texas, who goes to the World Series every year. He's very dynamic. He's pretty electric in terms of his athleticism, but he's working at third. He's working at second. He's a left-handed bat. So, Jamie, to answer your question, you're going to see a lot of combinations. Russell and Hainline and Shibley right now, would be the three that are really doing things. But Harvey, the grad transfer, just does a ton of things right. He's fast. He can play defense. He's versatile. So we're just really excited about our depth. And then in the outfield, Swartz comes back. Bryce Matthews comes back. Jonah Advincula, a Division III transfer who was one of the top hitters in Corvallis in the summer league, but he'll be one of the faster players in the pack. He's that leadoff type player that we were hoping to find. And there's a couple of freshmen and transfers in there. The biggest transfer portal guy you'll see will be Greg Fuchs. Got a ton of at-bats at Oregon State and grad transferred to us. So we have a very experienced club. It's been a fun club to coach for all of us. They don't want to hear any BS. They want to hear the truth, and they want to hear a little bit of black and white and where do I stand and what do I need to do. So pretty excited about that position core. It's 12 or 13 legitimate core players that are probably going to be on the field in those first 4 to 8 games.
Talk rotation a little bit too. Obviously, I think fair to say Grant's in that number 1 slot or that Friday or Saturday slot, but what's kind of the other couple guys, the weekday starter, and then what does the bullpen maybe look like right now?
Yeah. Grant comes back. He looks great. With regards to starting, Shane Spencer was a really big transfer for us. Pitched for the national champion Central Arizona team. He's really good. He pounds the zone. He's got a loose arm, so we're excited about him. Probably going to look at Hawk early on, potentially, and that's only because our bullpen is so much longer than it was a year ago. He's put on some weight, good weight. He's throwing harder. He's added some pitches. Coach Claggs has done a tremendous job with our pitching staff. You may see Calber early on. Jamie, those first couple weekends with those 4-game series, and guys are stretched a little bit. So for us, 8 games in first 2 weekends, we're going to go into that thing with 5 or 6 guys that we're going to potentially slot as starters. And then look at guys going 3 or 4 innings. Cottrell's back. He's throwing harder. Like I said, Calber. So there's 5 to 6 guys. Ryan Orr is a freshman. You could see him as well. But we're going to go into it with 6 and see how it shapes out in terms of managing innings. But, yeah, I think as you move into week 3, week 4 with Oregon State, you're going to see some version of Grant and Spencer and potentially Hawk and Cottrell. And then there's a few other guys that have really jumped in that are making a push for, a Tuesday type role. Spencer Jones is a junior college transfer, big physical left-hander. He's throwing a ton of strikes, and then Connor Wilford out of Saddleback has done a nice job as well. But Coach Claggett and Mike Newstrom have just done such a good job with our pitching staff. Going to look different, There's a lot of guys throwing harder, but there's a lot of guys with changeups and secondary stuff and having the ability to mix and keep people off balance. So they've been tough to face. They're pounding the zone, throwing a lot of strikes, and they've been really competitive the entire fall and now into the early spring.
Who gets the honor of being the opening day starter for that Friday game?
We're still going to see. We're going to look at Grant. We're going to look at Hawk, and we're going to look at Spencer Calver between those 4. And we're not hiding it. We just want to see how it matches up as we push into week 3 right now.
What's maybe the biggest thing that you think this team has, kind of improved upon from last year?
We're tougher with 2 strikes. We're just tougher in general. I think it's a more mature group. I think they can handle coaches getting on them. They're willing to joust with each other. There's an extremely higher amount of competition just in terms of the roster itself. Anytime you have that, obviously that's going to help. So from day one, our kids knew, and it was pretty point blank from the coaching staff perspective that, we have a lot of really good players. We don't have a lot of big time, single digit early draft type guys, but we have a lot of guys who have got a chance to play pro ball if they put years together. And this team has worked from day one. I just think this team's pretty real. I think you can tell them the truth, and I don't see this team being a team that's, if they get kicked in the face or if they get knocked down, I don't think they're going to lay down. I think they're going to be willing to fight somebody and play with a little anger and respond. So I think the biggest thing, Jamie, as we're excited about, and we're trying to keep a lid on our excitement, is, we haven't crossed the line in Pullman. We've done a nice job of getting better as a program, but the coaches are hungry to get to that next step and to, get into a 35 or a high 30s winning season and making a push at the regionals and starting with just being 500 in Pac-12 play. So I just feel, and we feel like this team is longer, is more competitive, and it's more mature. And we'll see if they go out and prove us right.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach. Good luck next weekend.
Thanks, Jamie.
All right, Coach. Gianna from Clue TV down in Lewiston. Gianna, do you have any questions for Coach Green?
Unmute. Sorry. Can you
Go
hear
ahead.
me now, Coach Green? Sorry.
Yeah. Hi, Gianna.
Hi. Okay, so Coach, obviously you talked about it a little bit with you have some experience with your transfers coming in, and I'm looking at your schedule right now with the road trip down in Arizona, and then obviously the Tony Gwynn Classic in San Diego. With kind of that opening schedule, how do you think that could potentially set the tone for the rest of this season? And then obviously going into competitive Pac-12 play as well.
Yeah, we love our schedule. We love the 9 to 10 more home games, but we really like a tournament format in the opening weekend. Against Riverside is down south, but you're bringing in a Villanova who's going to be in a similar situation as us. We're going to come out of the inside and bust out of the gym and go play in the high desert with a high sun and all that. We're really excited about week 2. I think that'll be a really good bar for us, just in terms of, Irvine has had such a quality program. San Diego State is going to run some great players at you. UC San Diego is coached well. And this being on the road in a couple of different ballparks. And then Vegas won the league last year and was one of the best offenses in the country. So really those first 2 weekends are going to give us a really good opportunity or measure to know where we stand. And we like the schedule because it's a lot of baseball. It's 2 4-game weekends. That will really put us in an opportunity to feel like when we come back home for week 3 in a 3-game series, to try to position ourselves before we go down to Corvallis and get into that environment.
Yeah, and speaking of obviously going to Corvallis, Oregon State, one of the top teams in the Pac-12, and the conference in general is obviously such a competitive conference for baseball. And you mentioned earlier about kind of taking that next step within the program. What does that kind of look like for you? What are some goals that you want to see from your players early on in the season to have that successful season that you were talking about?
Yeah, Gianna, obviously from the baseball perspective, we have our goals and things that are very important to us as a program that are indicative if you're a good team and if you're a tough team. But, we have length on the mound that we like, and we have some game goals that we have to achieve there. We have some game goals that we have to achieve offensively. But to answer your question, what's going to get Pullman off the map, just if you look at just the recent history of Cougar baseball, whether it's myself or previous coaches, we have had a really difficult, challenging issue within this program of starting well. If you look at March over the last decade, March has been a challenging month for Washington State Cougar baseball. And if you look at April and May, you look at when the weather warms up and the kids are closing in on getting out of class, there's been an upswing. We have certainly had that attitude here. We've had a tough March the last couple of seasons. So for us, we're trying to do a really good job of getting outside and being in outside as much as we can. That's why we went heavy road schedule last year. Our team didn't handle it very well, and coaching staff adjusted with an adjustment in how we scheduled this year. But we make no bones about it with our players. We got to do better in March. If we do that, we feel like we're going to have an opportunity, and it's not necessarily who we're playing. It's just the time, it's the calendar. So we've got to get off the mat better and faster, and get some confidence. And with that, we've got to be healthier early. We haven't had a lot of length in our program, both at the position player side and on the mound, and an injury has killed us. Feel like we've got a little more length this year in terms of if somebody does go down, that we're going to have somebody to be able to pick them up. But we've got to be tougher with 2 strikes at the plate. We've got to control the zone more. I think you'll see a little more power out of us, but we really just have to be tougher and show more walks and more controlling the zone. on the mound. We've got to limit big innings, and we've got to do that with our length. And those are just generic baseball things, but those have been issues for us, particularly early in the season. So we want to start fast, and that's really important to us. So the opportunity to go on the road is big. And but those first 2-3 weekends in Pac-12 play are going to be a real indicator of where we think we're going to be come May.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Coach. Sarah from the Pac-12 Conference Office is also on the call. Sarah, do you want to ask Coach anything?
Hi, Coach. Thanks for having me.
Hi, thank you.
I just want to get your thoughts on how the Pac-12 tournament went last year. And I know it was hot and it was in Scottsdale, but just your overall thoughts on having that now as part of the conference.
Well, I just think it gives all of us an opportunity to chase something. I think it's tremendously impactful for our conference. We all believe that it gives the challenge or the opportunity for the conference to get somebody else into the regionals. You know, typically without conference tournaments, they're going on ESPN, and people are talking about your conference, and the Pac hasn't had that. So a great first opportunity for us when it was 8 teams, and now it's 9 teams. And we'll be into that pool play type of format where it's 3-team pools. And the coaches feel like is going to give us a great opportunity to take that 5th or 6th team who's on that bubble, if we can make a run in the tournament, to potentially add another team to the regional field. And that's the goal. So really excited to make a run at getting into that thing and seeing if we can do some damage in it. But certainly that's goal number 1 is to get down to Scottsdale.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Right. Last 2 things for you, Skip. 2 programs that kind of got you excited. The return of the RV tailgate program here at Bailey Brayton Field, and then Thursday's Fan Fest. So can you talk a little bit how excited you are to have the RV tailgate program back at Bailey Brayton this year?
Yeah, really excited about it. You know, just thanks to our administration for giving us a crack at it. You know, last year was essentially a trial run to see let's see what you can do. And the fans responded with selling it out 3 times in the final 5 weekends, and we set a season ticket record, and attendance was up. But the RV program is a big part of that. So for all the fans, looking forward to seeing that in week 3. I'll be out there with you, and we've been given an increased lot space. It's actually almost tripled to what it was a year ago. I know there's a lot of groups that are excited about bringing in some tailgating in terms of having a big tailgate zone and a fan zone. Those things will be coming. If you sign up for our virtual fan clinic on Thursday, we'll be announcing a lot of those things. And plus there's hat sales and gear sales, but this is just an opportunity for us virtually. Pullman can be tough to get to. So instead of a first pitch dinner, this is our version of it. So we'll be unraveling and unveiling everything about Coug baseball here on Thursday night at 6:30 on Zoom. But we're excited about the direction of the RV program. That's a fun thing. We want to create an SEC tailgating environment, and certainly we get a chance to look at it every fall for football. This is an opportunity for all the football and Coug fans to come out in April and March. If you can't wait till August, we've got an answer for you. So excited about that, and excited to unveil all those things on the 9th.